It was a really fun week across this country as we celebrated 1 year out celebrations across the Canadian Premier League, presented by Hellmann's. Each and every home stadium had a fan fest, bands playing to recognize this is real. 365 days away from participating as host nation at the 2026 World Cup. This is O Canada, O Baby Part 2. Wheeler Wilson, Brennan still with you. In the spirit of the 1 year out celebrations, we decided to put together a potential squad for 2023. I was tasked with naming an 11 and a 23-man side ahead of the World Cup. These guys, I'm sure, will criticize and pick me
Maybe
apart.
not.
You too, feel free.
Maybe not.
Join the party in the chat across social media as well. So let's start off with my starting 11. This is just based upon where I think standing right at this moment and where I think they are trending to go. The back four, Davies back in healthy. Johnston returns from getting married, Bombito and Cornelius. That to me speaks for itself. I'm picking Sinclair over Crepeau. I just like his profile a little bit more, but I think there's a real race there. I'll get into the goalkeeping position in a moment's time. I like what I saw from Nathan Saliba, and I think he's very much a player on the rise. And his athleticism, his ability to move around the field and cover a lot of ground, I think that complements Eustachio very well. Schaffelberg is a Marsh-type player, and Buchanan back on form, that's a no-brainer. Same goes with Jonathan David. And it ended up picking Daniel Jebison. He had a very tough Canadian Shield, but this guy is top talent. He needs a move to a place he's going to play regular football. I know he scored a couple goals in the FA Cup for Bournemouth this year, but he only played less than 300 minutes altogether. He needs to play. But I look at him being the striker with the profile and the highest ceiling, and I'm hoping that he can reach that level and achieve that and get there over the next year. All right, boys. Jordan, should I start with you? Where's a gap? Where's a hole? Where might you disagree with that?
Wheels, it's a great list. Great list. And honestly, for the keeper and the back four, I have no complaints. Everyone healthy, that's what I would do. If I'm Jesse Marsh's camp, that's the back four that I'm going to play. The one area I think that would be different to start, I understand that everyone is high on Saliba, rightfully so, but I still think Kone has the edge over him. I still do. I think if you're going to have someone that's a complete 8, box-to-box, can control the game, I'm going to put Kone in there. Granted, this is still a year we can see Saliba, maybe where he moves, and maybe he has the edge on him. But right now, Kone's going to take it. Jebison's not starting up top for me. I don't know how you feel, Gaff, but Jebison's not starting up top.
No, he's not.
I think in a Jesse Marsh role, a player that gets very much disrespected, Kyle Larin will still do the things you need him to do in that number 9 position. I think the chemistry between him and David is exceptional. I still think it's the best that we have for Canadians, so I'm going to just leave it there, but I'm going to put Larin instead of Jebison. I love Jebison's potential, but he's not there over Larin for me.
Jimmy?
Yeah, Jebison not there for me. I'm taking Larin.
Come on, Gaff.
Larin and David, the two, they're going to be starting for me.
It was notable for me, and I mentioned this post-match, that Larin's role against Ivory Coast was playing the Jonathan David role, where he dropped a little bit deeper. It was Jebison that was preferred as a target man. And I understand what you're saying, that they have past chemistry, but the fit under Marsh for Kyle Larin's been very different than the fit for John Herdman. And I think he might want a different type of profile of a player. I still think that Larin has a role to play, but that signaled something for me. Because if you're planning on playing Larin in that advanced number 9 target man position for the World Cup, then why wouldn't he start there in a game like that? Is it just because he was giving Jebison a shot?
I think so.
Or this might signal something else.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
That was all about Jebison getting his minutes.
I think so.
Jebison had to play.
So Larin had to sacrifice his role based upon Jebison's position.
Well, I don't know. It's sacrifice. It's just because we know what Larin can do. Larin's got, 30-odd goals for this country, a hell of a lot of games, played in the World Cup, Gold Cup, played in everything. We know what you're going to get. You're going to get an experienced striker that's going to play alongside Jonathan David and knows this team, knows the tactics, knows everything about it. Jebison had to play. He had to play as long as he could so that he could actually really get a look at him to see if he was following what his instructions were throughout that match.
I think the biggest thing with Marsh that we've seen, he wants a team that's organized, that has legs that can go and press. If I look at Promise David, if I look at Jebison, if I look at Larin leading the number 9 position, who's the best at hold-up play for this country or that we've seen? Laren. Who's the best at being in the right position to go and press and to make things better for his teammate? It's Laren. So I think in a must-win game to start a tournament, he's going to play.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe it's just the way that I approach things. I like an experienced player to then come off the bench. I think Saliba right now, where he's trending, could be more reliable than Kone. Not a better player, but maybe more reliable for a starting role. Again, Kone a potential X factor. I'm going to go through each and every position with the players that would be coming off the bench. I put Crepeau, and I think the third goalkeeper is up for grabs. Owen Goodman is intriguing if they can get him to designate change of association to play for Canada. Really good young goalkeeper. Got Larea backing up on the left side, Waterman and Fougeroles with Seeger. He's also versatile. So is Larea. They can play either side. Seeger, obviously, the midfield as well. As we bring things forward through the midfield areas and the position players coming off the bench, I put Liam Miller just ahead of Jaden Nelson right now, or any other player playing behind Schaffelberg. He's on the road to recovery. He was excellent for Hull City before his season was lost. Kone and Chouanier, I got them ahead of players like Osorio for now. And Ali Ahmed, he's the perfect versatile player to play behind Buchanan. And up top to make the 23 complete, Promise David, who will push Jefferson for a starting spot. Same goes for Kyle Laren. I put Jefferson there for now, but certainly that is a position that's going to be very much up for grabs. Any player, Jordan, I'll start with you. You want to dispute maybe that I didn't include in the 23? That I'm missing, that you think that they got to be part of the group?
We spent a lot of time together. I could see why you chose the players that you did. I just this is why I like the 23 and not the 26, because who's left out is Osorio, Adekube, Oluwaseyi. You're thinking about Jesse Marsh and the fact that he's relied on these players, Jimmy, a lot already in his tenure. These players missing out in terms of, we talk about an organized side, maybe an Oso not making a last World Cup. I mean, Adekube, we don't know his status for next year with the Achilles injury, but should be maybe on this pathway coming back. But Oluwaseyi as well, he's had some big moments under Marsh and played he started matches at that number 9 position. And I understand basically you're thinking about 4 strikers, but to leave him out, I'm like,
Who do you leave out? Like Russell Rowe's not even getting a sniff right. Like there's some good players that are going to miss out based on the position that they play.
I also like Basong.
Yeah, I thought he played really well against.
I like the way that he plays. I like his energy, his aggression, and I like Knight LaBelle.
But this is why
I think he's another good defender.
Because it's basically 2 for each position. So it's like, is Basong really the backup at a left back position? I mean, he could be.
These are the players, some of the notable players who are on the outside looking in. Obviously, I kept Goodman, and he's not a Canadian eligible player just in terms of change of association right now. There might be other players that come into the fold, but these would be some of the notable players that would miss out based upon these very early projections.
I think about Osorio too, and this, just how big, Gaff, you know this better than anyone, the trust that a manager has in a player, the leadership, players that have been to a World Cup, that have played in matches at a World Cup, like that matters as well. I understand the Salibas, Kones, all these younger players that come with so much potential, like power as well. But someone that just walks and moves a certain way and is cheering on his teammates, that's so invaluable in a tournament like this. This is the biggest tournament, so it's weird. But I get your list, because I'm looking at the players. I'm like, it's going to be tough for Marsh, because there's going to be 3 or 4 players that are very hurt that they're out of the squad.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, look, that's football. You know what's going to happen, right? You know, you play the game because you love it. You want to play in the big tournaments, but you know, you can only take so many players with you, and of course you're going to upset people. But you know, with Oso, I love Oso. You know, I love him as a player over the last number of years. He's an absolute legend at TFC and for this national team. But you start looking at it now and think, okay, maybe his age, his legs, yes, he's got valuable experience. Yeah. But when you're going into the World Cup next year, mind you, that's going to be another year.
Yeah.
But you're looking at Saliba. If he goes to Anderlecht and he starts playing week in and week, Kone keeps improving. You got young, fresh legs that are out in that pitch that can run all day long. And it's difficult at times when you're in your 30s to play that role.
And my question to you, Wheels, obviously chime in as well. You know, when you build a team, you build an army that fits your style.
You have to.
And Oso is a very technical player. He controls the tempo of a game, but people have to get him the ball as well. He's not a ball winner naturally. I think in this system with 2, it seems like chaos sometimes. It's organized chaos, but it is chaos, meaning you're in the middle. Sometimes you're running to you're on the touchline because you have to go and tackle someone, you have to press. Does that system really suit someone like that? He's a legend, by all means, but I understand why this might be tricky going into next year.
When I look at that team, my projected 11, if I'm a World Cup opponent, I would hate playing that team. If everyone's fit and ready to go, that back four, we know how good they can be together. They have a good balance of strength, athleticism, quickness, as well as distribution out of the back. Solid midfield with wingers that can play high, two midfielders that can control the pace of the game. The best player on the field, Jonathan David, right in the middle. And then a player for me, again, with Jefferson, a little bit more of an X factor up top. I just think that could be a really intriguing look.
You like him. Rate your player, and that's fine.
I like what I think he can be. I didn't like what I saw, but I like what I think he can be. So plenty of change. And a lot of those players, by the way, need to get their club football sorted as soon as possible.
Big deal.
Because they need to be playing regularly at the highest level possible. All right, One Soccer today, we have debates like this Tuesday through Friday this week. It's a busy one right here on One Soccer.